My apologies. Hello, everyone. Thank you. My name is Tamara Bryan, and I will be your moderator for this. Thank you to everyone who is streaming on YouTube, those who are here with us. So, we're going to move right into it. We're going to start with the welcome and roll call by Mr. Dane Egla.
All right, thank you very much, Tamra. I just want to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to the GP's National Virtual Mental Health Forum for this afternoon. We'll be looking at the theme, Exploring Mental Health. Let's start talking. It promises to be an epic discussion, and I do apologize that I cannot turn on my camera. My background is a little busy, but I just want to welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Ikula Pierce. Mrs. Healy Collins is supposed to be joining us shortly. Guys, it promised to be a very productive, epic, edutaining session. And once you're watching, I know that you're going to gain something from this, guys. So not to worry, just sit back, relax, get a nice cold drink, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy the session. So enjoy the rest of your day and do take care. Over back to you, Tamara.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. Okay. So we're going to move into our devotion and prayer, which will be done by Miss Saran French, Regional VP of Region 1. Miss French?
Good day, everyone. Good day, good day. Welcome to the Mental Health Fair, done by the JPA. My assistant person that's supposed to be here with me today is unfortunately absent, and so I will be here by myself, but you will see her maybe soon. So I'll be doing the devotion as Tamara said.
This morning I woke up and I look in the mirror and every part of my body was in place. Many people died and never saw this day. So another day I live, I appreciate. Don't ever wanna act too high and mighty, cause tomorrow I can fall down on my face. So in everything, Lord, I give you praise, and that puts a smile on my face. Lord, I thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, beautiful day, it's a beautiful day. Don't fuss and fight, let us unite. We got one life, oh, it's a beautiful day, yeah, it's a beautiful day. Valleys of the shadows of death, I will fear no evil, won't be dismayed when I see the clock ticking away and things are not in place. Everything in life happens for a reason. Disappointment comes with a lesson. It's for me to get wiser, got to work harder. In the end, it will get better. Lord, I thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful day. Please don't fuss and fight, let us unite, let us unite, yeah. So let's make it right. It's a beautiful day, yeah. It's a beautiful day.
Indeed, it's a beautiful day. I don't know about you, but today is beautiful. I am alive, I am well, I am at JPA's Health Fair Seminar. Listen, I am grateful. It's indeed a beautiful day. Now the scripture reading is taken from Isaiah 41, verse 10, and it reads, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. This is the word of the Lord, and I say, Amen. No, I also want to encourage you before I do a short prayer to begin this beautiful evening of mental health fair. Now, if you ever feel like you are losing everything, remember that a tree loses its leaf every year and it stands tall and wait for better days to come. No, my sisters and brothers, please, when you feel like there is no hope, pray for your strength and keep on pushing, because God will never leave you nor forsake you. Now I'm going to ask that you just bow your heads, put yourself in the frame of mind as I do the opening prayer. Most righteous and eternal Father, we just want to thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for your young people, mighty God. Thank you for the persons, mighty God, on this earth, mighty God, that we're told to take dominion. And today, mighty God, this beautiful session put on by the Jamaica Prefects Association, mighty God, I pray that it will reach as many persons as possible, mighty God. Because in this time and age, mighty God, a lot of persons are being affected mentally. And mighty God, what a beautiful session to just put on in a time like this. And we bless the souls of the persons who are in charge of organizing this beautiful afternoon. Mighty God, I pray that you just continue to strengthen your people, strengthen your leaders, mighty God. As we go into this beautiful session, I pray that you just have your way and everything will be done according to your will. In your precious and holy name, I pray. Amen. Thank you so much for listening. Over to you, Tamara.
All right, thank you. I do hope our hearts are blessed as we continue with the program. Now we'll be taking the greetings by Mr. Siobhan Smith, our General Secretary. Mr. Smith?
Good day. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are, Mr. Smith.
All right. Thank you very much. So, this afternoon, I, General Secretary Siobhan Smith, on behalf of Jamaica Prefects Association, hereby express my wholehearted greetings and appreciation to everyone in attendance at this afternoon's Mental Health Forum. As we continue our Prefects Week celebrations, this seminar is one which hopes to enlighten, inspire, and sensitize young people about the importance of taking care of your mental health, especially during these turbulent times. Thanks once again for being here, and do participate, invite a friend, and care for one another as we persevere and remain steadfast. Thank you.
Thank you. Short and spicy, eh? Okay, so moving on, we're going to take an item now, a document entitled Mental Health by Mr. Shamar Grant, who is the immediate past Regional VP of Region 6 of our association. So we're going to take that item now. Mr. Grant.
Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. Tamara, could you just give me about 10 minutes, please, and come back?
Pardon?
Could you give me about 10 minutes and get back to me, please?
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, no problem. Moving on. Okay. So at this time, while we wait on Mr. Grant, our first guest speaker is here. Just want to know before we move on to that introduction.
Yes, she is, Tamara. Yes, she is.
Okay, lovely. So we're going to take the introduction of our first guest speaker, and this will be done by Mr. Bennett, who is our regional treasurer, Region 4. We're going to take that introduction now just to maximize on the time. So, Mr. Bennett, we take that introduction.
Thank you, Ms. Brian. Our first speaker today is the manager of the Hanover Youth Innovation Center. She is a trained job coach, a professional social worker, and a youth empowerment officer On top of all, she is a psychologist. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the bold, the brilliant, the beautiful Miss Haley Collins. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kwame. I hope you guys are hearing me. I'm having internet issues here at work. So hold on, just give me a minute. Let me.
No problem. We were hearing you, Ms. Collins.
Just a correction though, because I realized that you guys are speaking things into being. But I am not a psychologist, even though I did psychology at the University of the West Indies. I am not a psychologist, or am I a practicing psychologist? Here in Jamaica, you have to have a master's in psychology to practice psychology. However, everything else is accurate. I am one of the managers of the Hanover Youth Innovation Center. I am a youth empowerment officer with the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, and I am also a trained and certified job coach. And I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you guys for having me. But just to add to my little bit of accolades, funny enough, I was appointed as regional director for Jamaica Prefects Association. So you guys, I am supposed to be providing technical support to you. So thank you for thinking of me to invite me to share with but more of us just chit-chatting about mental health this afternoon. And then, but I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share something with you guys. And then I know that my dear friend, Ikula Pierce, I see him have JP on his name. Watch you know. Listen. I'm going to allow Mr. Pierce to get into the nitty-gritty of it all. So if I am allowed, can I share my screen? Can I be allowed to share my screen, please? I'm going to try again. No.
Can you share now? I can't hear you. You're muted. Okay.
The host muted me. I was allowing them to unmute me, but oh well. All right. So we're going to chit chat a little bit about mental health. Mental health and mental illnesses, understanding it, dissecting it really. I'm not going to go into much of discussing. We tend to shy away from having conversations about it because the rhetoric or the narrative that we have as it relates to mental health issues is that once you're having mental health issues, you're mad. That is what we in Jamaica say. It's just mad people. We just allude the mental health issues to madness. So sometimes even persons who are suffering suffer quietly and suffer by themselves because they don't want to be termed as, oh, the girl, them mad out, or them colleagues or their classmates or schoolmates might think that they're mad, when in truth and in fact, they're just having mental health issues. So I want to talk a little bit about that. And I want to also highlight that it is important, very, very, very important to take our mental health seriously, because we have persons within our circle. I know many of you might not even know between me and Uno, do not say too. She suffers from mental health issues. She's bipolar. And you might not have heard, but the other day she attempted suicide. Now imagine nice, clean skin, round like English pound, Jada, having mental issues. Some people might just write her off as mad, but she suffers from bipolar personality disorder. And that's just one of the many mental health illnesses that the DM5, the DMV5 will talk about. Now, on my slide here, I have understanding mental health. Let me see how, I'm not so sure how to manipulate this thing, let me try. Okay, so what is mental health? Mental health refers to the maintenance of successful mental activity, maintaining our psyche, maintaining what is going on up here in our minds as it relates to how we process things, how we think, and how we function. So mental health is referred, or mental health refers to maintaining up here our psyche. It includes maintaining a productive daily activities and maintaining fulfilling relationships with others. So every aspect of our lives is connected to having a good mental health. Once your daily activities are maintained, once you can function at work, once you can function at school as you should, once you can maintain healthy relationships, whether it be with parents, friends, intimate relationships, whatever it is, you are termed as having a healthy mental state. It is definitely not easy being a teenager, as my slide would rightfully says. Sometimes it's tough to avoid feeling stressed and pressured and all of that. And we know this. I've been a teenager for some time in my life, and I do understand the perplexities that teenagers go through. And I know my second speaker, Mr. Pierce, who works in the school, has to contest and deal with can get rough. However, we have to take maintaining our psyche into consideration, even as teenagers, because I want to tell you that mental health issues, most times, most often than not, unfortunately, they don't just start when you start. When you become an adult, you have to pay bills and everything just as stress you and life just, feeding your lemons. Mental health issues don't normally start there. Most often than not, mental health issues start from early onset of teenage years. And so it is important for us, even as social workers, or for us even as advocates of change, to really understand and appreciate what is going on with our teens. That we have to adapt to, it can get pressuring. Sometimes you might feel sad. Sometimes you might feel hopeless. Your internet connection is unstable. I hope you guys are hearing me. Let me know if you're hearing me, guys.
We're hearing you, just missing a little
Good.
bit at some point, but yes.
Some point, all right. I'm gonna solve that in a bit. All right, so now hear me good now. Good.
Perfect.
Especially because I remember as a teenager, some things that would worry me is the fact that I might not have been grown up in a wealthy household. And there are some things, because I went to Manning. Some of you on here might have gone to Manning's, and you know them. The narrative is that it's rich people picnic on Manning's. So sometimes as a teenager, I would have felt left out somewhat because I might not be able to afford some things that my friends can afford. And those things will, worry our brains as teenager. However, those are normal worries, that's fine. Whenever it gets more serious than that, whenever you might be having suicidal ideations, whenever you might be feeling way more down than normal, this is when you have to take control of what is happening. This is when you need to seek help. All right? Mental illness can occur when the brain or any part of the brain is not working well. So sometimes it's not just what is happening in your ecology or what is happening in your environment that affects your mental health, but it might just be normal. You might be born that way, like Lady Gaga would say. For example, we have two particular psychological problems or mental health illnesses, psychopaths and sociopaths. I'm not going to delve too much into it, but I just want to use it as an example. Psychologists have proven and believe that psychopaths are born that way. There's some malfunctioning of the brain, and because of that, they will demonstrate certain tendencies. However, sociopaths are the same. They demonstrate the same type of issues, problems, symptoms as psychopaths. However, they are socially created. Sociopaths are created by their environment, whether they would have been exposed to traumatic events that cause them to react a particular way. So mental health issues can occur when the brain or any part of the brain is not working well or is working in the wrong way. When the brain is not working properly, or one or more of the 6 functions will be disrupted. And on my slide, you'll see here. Let me see if you can.
Hopelessness. You look right, you look left. You look up, you look down, and it seems as if there is no way out. You almost feel as if you want to throw in the towel.
Okay. I heard talking just now, so I stopped. All right.
Apologies. Not
That's
sure what
fine.
happened. Please continue.
That's fine.
Apologies.
And as you see on my slide here, 6 functions that might be disrupted: your thinking, your perception, your emotion, your signaling, your physical aspects, and your behavior. And we'll talk about the thinking. Let's think about someone who suffers from schizophrenia. Someone who suffers from schizophrenia, their thinking and their perception is completely distorted. I have a cousin, and whenever I'm doing presentations like this, I like to include experiences. So I have a cousin, Mark you, that suffers from schizophrenia. And I remember many times when people are schizophrenic, they think that the world is against them. They are very paranoid. And he would go to the shop, he would buy a drink, and then when him come and for open it, him just look on it like this. I remember this has happened several times in front of me. He'll look at the drink that is sealed, and him say, "Sure, bomba, man." Then people are try to kill him, And he would just put on the drink. The last time that happened, my father just take it up and drink it. So he always thinks. So his thinking and his perception is distorted because of the paranoia to believe that people are always trying to kill him. When I was at university, I had a friend who has a son. He's also schizophrenic. And in my mind, in perception, in mind, just tell him, say, we are together. And I remember even when I got married, he found me on Facebook and he threatened me night and day. He threatened me, oh, I got married, I left him, and he got do this because his perception is distorted. When he smokes a cigarette, he doesn't smoke a cigarette regularly. He opens it up and he puts it in them white paper thing, the white papers that you use to smoke weed or whatever the case may be, because he has to search through it. Because for some strange reason, the makers of cigarettes ought to forget him alone. In this world, them ought to forget to kill. So that is what schizophrenia does to people. And it alludes to mental health issues in general. Once your brain is affected, once you're having any form of mental health issue, these 6 things will be affected. Most often than not, than anything else, your behavior, your thinking, and your perception is mostly impacted. Some symptoms can include thinking difficulties or problems for thinking difficulties or problems focusing or being attentive, extreme emotional highs and lows, like those persons who might suffer from bipolar disorder. They might, when they're manic, when they're going through those manic stages, they might be extremely happy and just go lucky and just, just nice, right? And then within seconds, the mood might change from extreme happiness to extreme sadness. And of course, you might have persons who suffer from anxiety attacks, depression, etc., that might have sleep problems. So those are some symptoms that will show you that people are suffering from mental health issues. Now, when these symptoms significantly disrupt a person's life, we can say that a person or that individual has a mental disorder or is suffering from a mental illness. No, not all mental illnesses and mental disorders. And I started with this and I have to reiterate because it annoys me. It annoys me when persons just write off everyone who is having an issue as mad. It really annoys me because they're not mad. Madness is madness. When you're suffering from mental health issues, you just need help. If you're staying on your meds, you'll be just fine. So what are the causes of mental health issues or mental illness? Mental health illness, the causes of can be complicated. One, it can be genetic. So if your father or your mother is schizophrenic, you might be born with schizophrenia. If your parents or your grandparents or even your great-grand, because DNA travels. So it might just be a great-grandmother or a great-grandfather who has bipolar disorder. Your child might come with bipolar disorder. So genetics can impact mental health issues. Environment, we talk about ecology, the systems, what's going on. If you are in an area, in an environment that you are exposed to a lot of trauma, you might live in a garrison where you're exposed to a whole heap of gunshot day in and day out, right through like night through, you might develop mental health issues. If you are directly in an environment where you're exposed to abuse, you're exposed to sexual abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, whatever it is, it might create or you might develop mental health issues. I would call these developmental mental health issues. And of course, brain disorder, something might go wrong. You might have an accident, right? And something go wrong up here, so, and it just screw you for the rest of your life. So these are some causes or some complications or some things that causes mental health issues. What do we know about the causes of mental health issues or mental health illness? The symptoms of mental illness are a result of abnormal brain functioning, as mentioned before. Mental illness is a brain disorder. Some of them, mental illness is rarely, if ever, caused by just stress alone. So stress alone can't do it because right now me stress out and I'm magadong, but I don't have a mental health issue. I just stress, work has stressed me, everything has stressed me. I've been Johnson week, I'm stressed, but you can't write me off as having a mental health issue. So just note that these things are not just caused by being stressed. Something else have to go on, whether it's post-traumatic symptoms or, as I mentioned before, things happening in your environment, or as I mentioned before, something going off up here, something happening to the brain. And I'm going through quickly because, we don't want this to be long and drawn out and boring like myself here. All right. It is not the consequence of poor parenting or bad behavior. And I would have mentioned earlier that sometimes our socioeconomic situations can cause us to develop mental health issues. I was watching a movie the other day. It's called Creep. And I want you guys to go and find it on Netflix or whatever medium you used to watch movies, Creep 1 and Creep 2. And I like to watch psychological thrillers. And while I was watching the first one, I was trying to psychoanalyze to find out what disorder the person has. Apparently, he's a sociopath. I thought he was a psychopath, but then when I watched Creep 2, I realized why he is the way he is. Apparently, this individual went to a party at 15, was going home from the party, got a lift from someone who appeared to be very nice, and he turned off into some bush, some forest, and almost beat him to death. But here's a twist to the story. While the man was beating him almost to deadments, he fought for his life. And while he was fighting and while he was harming and hurting the perpetrator or the person who was harming him, he tended to enjoy it. So that's the twist. No, we think it's sociopathic because maybe it's because of his experience why he became the person he is. And the person he became was someone who would call people, call photographers. He victimized photographers, invited them home, and he would kill them. But when you look at it, really, I want psychopath because if you're hurting someone and you're enjoying it, something right up here, so something well twist up, you understand? So it is not the consequence of poor parenting or bad behavior that causes mental health illness. I'm saying all of that to say sometimes it might, but it's not always. That's not the only thing, or that is not the main thing that will cause these issues. It is not the result of personal weakness or deficit in personality. It is not the manifestation. Listen to me now. Listen, when people have mental health issues, do not bring them to church and try to cast out no demons. Some things are just not spiritual. And if you go to church, you'll find that, I don't really want to get into the religious debate. But when you go to church, sometimes they find that everything is of the devil. Your husband cheat on you, is the devil. You're going like you have no sense, is the devil. And you're possessed and you need holy water and people to touch you and cast out the demons. No. Mental health issues, mental health illness is what it is. It's not a manifestation of any demons or any evil spiritual being. Only in exceptional cases is it caused by nutritional factors. We have some issues like, or if Ikula can remind me, what them call them? Mr. Egler, those diet issues that people have, anorexia and those things, those are not just diet issues, they are mental health issues, but only in exceptional cases. And it is definitely not caused by poverty. Come on, all of we they here so poor and hungry, but we're not having mental health issues, are we? So these are some of the misconceptions or the misconstrued perceptions that we have as individuals as it relates to mental health issues. And I want you to just wipe them out of your mind. Because it's not because you don't have money while you're going off. It's not because your parents used to smoke and party and leave you alone while you're going off. Sometimes it is really, really, really more than that. And you need to seek help. Many mental illnesses begin during childhood, as I mentioned before, and persist into adolescence. So sometimes this is persons who, you might pass someone on the streets. I have classmates, I know classmates that I pass them and I want to come on my eyes because while they were in high school, they were nice. But if you really look back, if you really take a minute or two and just look back at their behavior in high school, you'll realize a long time something to them. A long time them they did seek physician because of something to them a long time. So what this is saying is that sometimes or these issues, these mental health issues, they start from childhood and it gets worse during or persists during adolescence, and then it just kick off and get worse when you become adult and when the real pressures of life hit you. And some of these issues include attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and we call it ADHD. And I know at least 20 of the 36 persons on here today might have known or might see somebody or know somebody personally who suffers from ADHD. Some other mental health issues are intellectual disorders that affect persons during childhood include autism spectrum disorders. And it's called an autism spectrum disorder because psychologists believe that it is on a spectrum. So this individual who suffers from autism might not have the same, might be mild. And then another individual who suffers from autism might be, severe. So they are on a spectrum. It's not a one chap that fits all setting. And then you have a generalized anxiety disorder, which sometimes leads into serious anxiety disorder or is propelled into bipolar disorder and get worse over time. But some illnesses begin during adolescence, and these illnesses include major depression, schizophrenia, BD, panic disorders, social anxiety disorders, and it's important when you're in your downtime to just do a little research on these because the symptoms, you will be able to pick up the symptoms in others that you can not diagnose because you can't diagnose unless you're a psychiatrist. But you can say, all right, maybe this person is suffering from a tinge of such or a tinge of that. And then you have the eating disorders like the anorexia and the bulimia, the etc. Mr. Egler might think I have an eating disorder, who knows? And then you have the obsessive compulsive disorder like Monk. I don't know how many of you would have watched the TV show Monk. Monk is seriously OCD. And I know personally persons who have obsessive compulsive disorders. And of course, addiction. How many of you knew that addictions are mental health issues? Yep, addiction. You have persons who have serious addictive personality that it don't matter what. If them start drink, them get addicted. If them start smoke, them get addicted. If them start gamble, anything them do, them just get addicted because they have an addictive personality or they have that mental health issue called addiction. What do we know about people with mental illnesses? Most people with mental disorders live productive and positive lives. Ever hear the saying that a whole heap of mad people in a clean clothes? It's so no way, but it's true. Not wanting to say that people who suffer from these issues are mad. It's just a statement that we as Jamaicans make. Because people can live, go to work, have solid marriages, and they are suffering in silence. If they are receiving treatments, as I would have mentioned, Jada, I know many of you on here didn't know that Jada suffers from bipolar personality disorder, but she does. And I can recognize when she's not on her meds. If you watch her live, you can recognize when she's not on her meds. Some people have a severe and persistent mental disorders which respond poorly to current treatments. Mental illness does not respect boundaries of race, class, or geography. So you could be rich like Bill Gates, you could be white like Trump, you could sound like Nicole McLaren Campbell. You can suffer from mental health issues. It is not a respecter of money. It is not a respecter of wealth. It is not a respecter of class. It is what it is. The majority of people have a friend or an acquaintance or know someone who has had a mental disorder. I'm a perfect example of that. My best uncle, he's mad. But I think that he has schizophrenia, right? And it is just with those weed smoking that he continuously do in his earlier stages of life. It just, throw him off, and he wasn't medicated or anything, so he just got off. But I know that every one of us might know someone personally who is suffering from a mental illness, and we can't turn our backs on them. We can't write them off as mad boy or mad girl. If we can assist them with getting the help that they need, we should. Mental health problems can be treated. You can be medicated. it's not something that gonna write you off from society forever and ever. Amen. Once you acknowledge, and I pause here to say that unless you acknowledge and accept that you have a flaw, you can't change. So once you acknowledge and you realize that something is going on, then you're able to get the help that you need. If you feel very sad, if you feel very stressed or worried, it might help to talk to someone about how you're feeling. Now, all of you are students, and I know most of you might attend church or whatever the case may be. And myself, as a youth empowerment officer, I have 5 other colleagues here in Westmoreland, St. James, and Hanover, who is always ready to give a listening ear and to give the best advice we can. All right. So whenever you're feeling down, because as I would have mentioned before, excuse me, sometimes it starts from feeling a little down or feeling a little way like Spicy, I feel away. And then it projects or it gets bigger and it gets into something huge. So once you're feeling a little down and you need someone to talk to, don't be afraid to seek help. Closed mouth never get fed, right? And you just have to take responsibility and accountability for yourself. You just have to take charge of your life, all right? So speak to someone. So if you ever often feel angry or worried, if you ever do reckless things that could harm you or others, if you ever feel grief for way too long than you should normally do, if you think your mind is controlled or is out of control, and if you're just using drugs, especially at this age in your teenage years, if you are binge eating, if you're dieting obsessively, if you're exercising obsessively, and if you're hurting others or destroying property without control, you might have an issue and you might need to speak to someone. If you feel any of these things, it might help to talk to your teacher, talk to your parent, talk to your guidance counselor, or go to a hospital and find a social worker or a psychiatrist and talk to, all right? Don't sit down until it festers, because if it gets worse, it's going to be harder to control and it's going to be harder to help you, all right? So that is basically, let me stop sharing it. That is basically it as it relates to mental health. And it is important to note here that as teenagers, as young people, you might be suffering or you might be experiencing, or you might have friends or confidants or associates who are experiencing mental health issues. Don't shun them. Don't discriminate. Don't write them off as mad. Mad people are mad people. There's a difference. Offer as much assistance as you can, especially as student leaders. Offer as much assistance as you can, because mental health, as mentioned before, mental health issues, no respect nobody. So if tomorrow you wake up and you see Mrs. Collins walking and eat out a garbage bin, don't say, I can't, Miss Collins, that get me some help. Can we go to KFC, go buy me a 2-piece or something? But get me some help. You see your friend, you see Mr. Pierce, you see Rashai, you see Egla suffering. Don't skin your nose up or turn your nose up to their conditions. Get them some help, because it can happen to the best of us. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for listening attentively. And that's it for my presentation.
Hi, everybody. Are you hearing me? All right, wonderful. Thank you for joining me at this session. It's wonderful. I listened to everything that you said, Miss Collins, and it was well said. My name is Shamar Grant. I'm the past vice president for Region 6 of the Jamaica Prefects Association. And I too consider myself a mental health activist. Actually, just in my field, really well, still in planning a film that is centered around mental health in Jamaica. And I believe it's a topic that we all should speak about. Um, whether it is that we're experiencing it or we know anybody who is experiencing it. I know the program says, or I think Tamara said that I would be doing a poem entitled Mental Health. But no, I won't. I'll be just doing a poem. And you guys can just listen up. It's about basically acceptance, which a lot of us struggle with, both acceptance of ourselves and acceptance of others. And so you guys can just listen up, and anything that you want to take away from it, you can do so. Here goes. Tell me, why can't you accept me as I am, just the way I am? Tell me, why can't you accept me as I am, just the way I am? Where Bubba grew up, they kept Where Bubba grew up, they kept tobacco chewed up. And when they used to hang ropes, they always kept two up. Had crosses burning all night like the church blew up. And if you didn't look like them, they would mess you up. Time passed and Bubba turned 40 years old. And all them Jack Daniels started taking a toll. Seemed like Bubba was about to take his final bow. None of its friends from the clan couldn't help him now. Family gathered at his bedside, ready to sing the blues when the doctor rushed in and said, "I've got some news. The good news is, Bubba, I found you a liver. The only bad news is it belongs to a nigger. So do you care about the texture of his hair or the cocoa brown color of his skin? Do you still care? Do you still give a dime now you're in the predicament you're in? Do you still care? Does it still mean a lot? No, you're the one who's needing the help. Do you still care? Does it still mean a lot to love your neighbor as you love yourself? Tell me, why can't you accept me as I am, just the way I am? Tell me, why can't you accept me as I am, just the way I am? Where bigger grew up, boys were supposed to be tough. Girls were trophies. Every man always kept a few up. When he was hurt and the tears would sting in his eyes, his mother said, "Stop the noise, you a girl? Real boys don't cry." He learned in order to be a man, he had to know how to fight and had some very definitive rules about what's wrong or right. Never had the luxury of being able to choose. So to him, for being different, there was no excuse. Bigger was hustling on the corner, making some cash when he bumped into some beef that he had from the past. He watched the guns blaze and the bullets fly in disbelief as his friends all jumped in their rides. Left him in the gutter, didn't care if he died. He was rescued by a car with plates that said "Gay Pride." It would have been fatal. The shot in your head, them save your life, although you always say "Chich if it dead." So do you care about the clothes that they wear? Would you rather if they had left you there? Do you still care what your friends would say if they see you hanging out with a queer? Do you still care? Does it still mean a lot? No, you're the one who's needing the help. Do you still care? Does it still mean a lot to love your neighbor as you love yourself? So tell me, why can't you accept me as I am, just the way I am? Tell me, why can't you accept me as I am, just the way I am? Do you still care? Thank you.
Wow, absolutely beautiful. Well done. I see Miss the beautiful Mrs. Collins saying in the comments, this are going with itself. I can attest to that. Very beautiful. Thank you for that, Shamar, Mr. Grant. Yes, it going with itself for real. So now, moving on to our next guest speaker, we'll have the introduction of the speaker done by Miss Ashanti Roach. Thank you again so far for being here, Miss Roche.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm not Ashandi Roach, unfortunately. My name is Akishma Payne, but I will be introducing Aikula Pierce same way. Aikula Pierce is a humble young man currently serving as the guidance counselor at Manning School. He is the first deputy chairman elect for the National Youth Council of Jamaica, founder of the Aikula Pierce Grants a Wish Foundation, and is currently pursuing postgraduate studies in education and training. Mr. Pierce is a former guidance counselor at Nakalva Technical High School, vice president of the Westmoreland Parish Youth Council, and a youth member of parliament. He is an innovative and astute individual who displays tremendous commitment to nation building. More so, enjoys volunteerism and is passionate about contributing to holistic development of individuals. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to present to you our second guest speaker of the day, Mr. Aikula Pierce.
Thank you, Miss Payne. Can you give me a mic check, please? Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we're
are,
hearing you.
sir.
All right, awesome. All protocols observed. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. Miss Collins, I see you up there. Good afternoon, everyone. Before I go into the content of the presentation, I heard Mrs. Collins made mention of an example. She was basically saying, if we realize or we happen to see men cheating, it's not a mental health issue. Mrs. Collins, can you clarify if you said that, please?
Listen to me, do not mix me. Don't mix me and
I was just wondering if you could also insert women too. Yeah? But I will take the conversation to our next.
listen to me, Aikula.
That's fine? All right. Let me say that I am truly humbled for the invitation as we discuss a very important topic or a very important aspect of our self-esteem, mental health. And today I will be sharing a part 3 in a series that I have been compiling about self-esteem survival, because we know that it is very necessary that we advance the welfare of our psyche. Because if we are not functional, young people, we might not be able to reach persons as we ought to. Mental health influences our self-esteem. And the beauty about it is that we don't have a manual of how to proceed. We don't have a template per se. It will take how you apply yourself. It will take your action, your thoughts, and what you believe in. So I want permission to go ahead and share my screen as I will be showcasing part 3 in the series Self-Esteem Survival. I am using 2 devices Can somebody indicate whether or not they're seeing my screen?
No. No, I'm not seeing. Okay, now something's coming up.
You're seeing something now?
Yes, it's there.
I'm just trying to ensure that it is being skipped. Just a second. All right. Is it flowing?
Yes, it is.
All right, perfect. So part 3, as I said before, of self-esteem survival, and part 3 speaks to the importance of being okay. The importance of being okay is something that I deliberately chose that wording because I don't want it to be a case where I overestimate anybody's judgment or I'm too optimistic as it relates to putting a position on somebody. So I'm saying to you the importance of being okay because that is relative. So the content in or the context in which I will speak to you this afternoon is on the fact that irrespective of the problems or irrespective of the situations that you are facing, you must endure. And that is the content in which we speak. But the content, the context, that is the context, but the content is basically mental health, managing our mental health for advancement. Mental health or mental health awareness has almost become a cliche, and especially that is compounded by the pandemic that we know existing. Because to me, COVID-19 has ambushed us. It is as if it has camouflaged itself and attacked us from the back. It has attacked us, completely flooring humanity all over the world. It has plummeted us into a state of grief, and not necessarily grieving because of death, but grieving because you would have lost or it would have disrupted your usual way of doing things. It has disrupted your lives and your livelihood. And we know as young people that anything that disrupts or disturbs our psychological psyche is something worth having a discussion. So I want to thank you for extending the invitation, because the reality is nowadays people are seeking help. People are seeking help. People are crying out for help because we are at a stage now where we have lost complete control of what is happening. We have lost the know-how in managing our mental capacities. And the fact that we are losing control of our situation, it seems as if it is getting at a pathological level. Why do I say this? All of us are humans. We have emotions, we have feelings, we have perceptions. I mean, we're not feed past salt. So at least we have feelings. And the fact that COVID-19 and our mental abilities are affected at some point in time, we oftentimes experience depression, anxiety, and some sort of mania, or if you want to, for a better word, mania. But what makes the conversation interesting is when we cannot deal with our mental capacities. That is when everything gets serious. That is where the rubber meets the road. And I am trying to stick within the time frame allotted for me, because I understand the virtual space. I don't want to bore you. So I do understand. So I will be as brief as possible, as well as engaging as possible. So as I was saying, it becomes serious when you cannot manage your emotions. It becomes serious when you don't understand how you're feeling. It becomes serious when you don't have the emotional intelligence to proceed. That is where you need to cry out for help. So Mrs. Collins would have exhausted some content already as it relates to mental health. But at this time, I want you to open your mic. I want you to talk to me. I have some colloquial terms here. When we talk about mental health, we hear people mention psycho, dumb, lunatic. We have the Bellevue coming into context, top floor, you're mad. But I just want two other colloquial terms that when you talk about mental health, what comes to mind? Any two person, just go ahead, open your mic and give me two answers, please.
People speak about Ward 21.
Ward 21. Very well. Can I have another one?
The inability to socialize.
The inability to socialize. And we know that when we say you're unable to socialize, you're unable to engage in interpersonal communication or interaction or relationship, something is wrong with you. Miss Collins would say, you know, your head at travel or something right up in the settings aspect of your brain. But when we talk about mental health, these are some of the things that come to mind. These are some of the things that come to mind because we don't understand. All of us brag that we have mental health awareness abilities and we are aware of what is happening. But how aware are you? How is it that when persons mention mental health, you'd mention Ward 21, mad people, dumb, lunatic, psycho? How did we reach or get here? Because it is an untold story. But the reality is, as young people nowadays, COVID has allowed us to lose our sense of control. This community has lost its sense. Nationally, we have lost sense. Globally, same thing. We are enveloped by the reality of COVID-19. And because of that, we are not mentally prepared to get things done. And it bothers us because we know if we cannot get things done as we would want, it will spark some curiosity. And we want to know, why is it that I cannot do this? Why is it I am the only one suffering? Why John Tom? Why Mary Jane? Why them seem to elevate themselves and me down in a one corner? Why me, Lord? And then you approach some young people and you say, how are you? What is happening with you? And them start tell you, Lord Jesus, that you don't know how life hard with me. I'm not saying that it is among the young population, but you know, you have the elderly, when you happen to approach them, they say, oh God, like nothing never happened to them, none at all. But the reality is, COVID is here and it is affecting our mental abilities. And Mrs. Collins said it right. If you are not mentally prepared, you will not be functional. You will not be functional to assist others. You will not be functional to assist yourself. So if you put it into context, if I am okay, then I should be able to reach other persons. That is the reality that I want you to understand this afternoon. But what is mental health? Mental health is not just about the absence of mental illness. It is not. Mental health speaks to our ability to be resilient, to adapt, to be flexible. Mental health speaks to the ability to healthily cope and manage stress, caring for others, alignment of our mind, our body, and our spirit. Mental health is not trying to control everything. Mental health is top priority. Mental health is top priority right now. It's not just about the absence of mental illness, but it is very, very comprehensive. It includes a lot of factors, and we have to take those into consideration. So at this time, I want to ask you, young people, where are you mentally? I will just entertain just about two responses. Where are you mentally? Or let's personalize it. Where am I? Just give me a short sentence. Where are you? Where are you? Somebody. You can go ahead and open the mic.
I am very anxious.
You're anxious. All right, Miss Payne, I hear you. Richards, you're SpongeBob. All right, let me take you through the three graphic representations on screen. Rock bottom, undecided, mountaintop. Is it that you are at a rock bottom? Is it that you are experiencing emotions? I want to pause right here and I want you to understand what I'm trying to say. I want you to grasp the concept, not necessarily the pictures, but listen to the content. Is it that you are at rock bottom? You are hopeless. You look left, you look right. You look up, you look down, and it seems as if there is no way out. You oftentimes feel as if it is best for me to just throw in the towel. Your thoughts are not in synergy with your mind and your body. You're all over the place. In Jamaica, when we are hungry, we know that we don't see well. When we are hungry, we don't hear well. When we are hungry, we don't communicate well. And that is just the reality. Maybe it's just a me thing. I don't know about you, but I can tell you. When I am hungry, I don't hear well. And I don't want to hear anything. The only thing I want to hear is, what do you want to eat? Or here's this for you to consume. That is what I want to get from you. Are you at a stage where you are at rock bottom? Mrs. Collins said it right. You have to know where you position you have to know where you position yourself. Is it that you're at rock bottom? Or is it that you're at a SpongeBob? Are you a SpongeBob this afternoon? Are you busy trying to find a way out? Are you trying to know or trying to get an understanding of what it is that I need to do? Why is it that every plan that I exhaust, it is not working out? Why am I alone? Why is it that I am struggling so much? Is it that you're at a SpongeBob stage? You're busy trying to find an itinerary to reach somewhere. Every plan you try to enforce or to action, it does not reap any benefit or it does not come to fruition. Why? Why me? Why this little dry head boy? Why this little fat boy? This marker boy? Why me? Why me all of out of everybody? Why me all of a sudden? Why me? I am pushing myself out there. I am getting to a stage where I am vulnerable, but I am not getting the support. I am not getting the support. I am doing what is required of me, but I am just not getting the support. Why me? Insecurities are creeping up. Overwhelming tendencies are creeping up. Anxiousness is creeping up, or your anxious abilities are creeping up. Inadequacies to get the job done, that is creeping up. No, I don't have a device to access online school, that is creeping up. And if you believe that the device is the only problem, no, slow and digital all over the place. So I don't necessarily have a device issue only, but I have a connectivity problem. Why is it that I am unable to meet my demands? Why me? Why me? Why not him? Why not her? And you sit and you begin to have that conversation, because sometimes all of us, I want to suggest to you, you don't talk to yourself because you're mad. You talk to yourself because you reach a consciousness level where you can make decisions. You can make calculated decisions in your mind. My colleague would say, I am having a staff meeting in my brain. I have my principal, my vice principal, my guidance counselor, my nurse, my staff members and my ancillary workers. All of us are in my brain. I am having a staff meeting with my thoughts, because I want to ensure that when I act, or when actions come forth, they are calculated enough. I make calculated decisions. But I am at a SpongeBob stage. I am at a SpongeBob stage. I am thinking there's no way out. I don't know what to do. I don't know what plan to action. But there lies a silver lining. And I want to suggest to you, try finding that silver lining. And that silver lining will be effective enough to reach the top of the mountain. While some of us are hopeless and at rock bottom, while some of us are at the SpongeBob stage, some of you and some of us are at the mountaintop. Being at the mountaintop It means that you would have navigated a lot of circumstances. It means that you have maneuvered a lot of crevices and corners to reach where you are. It means that you would have pushed through. And that is what I want you to do this afternoon while we discuss such a very important topic, mental health. If you are at rock bottom, if you are at a SpongeBob stage, you still can push through because the mountaintop is there for all of us. No register no up there for mark. And if you reach up there and you try to register your name, nobody can tell you say you don't belong here. It is here. It is there for all of us. And at some point in time, you need to understand that if it is that I push forward, I have the equal opportunity of reaching the mountaintop. Where are you is still the question. Where are you is the basis on which you will start to action your abilities. Because ideally, you must know where you are to exert the level of interest or the level of pressure to reach where you are not. You have to work with the continuum. You know where you are, and then you try exerting or applying yourself to reach to where you want to reach. And that is the beauty of self-esteem survival. And that is something that I try to emphasize in the series, the Self-Esteem 101 series, because some of us, we tend to be guided by a perceived norm or narrative that not because I am from the echelon group that I can't excel. Completely nonsense. We are existing in uncertain times. We're existing in uncertain times. And our mental health is very much important. It's very much important. But the difficulty lies when you cannot adjust. The difficulty lies when you cannot manage your abilities. You cannot adapt and you cannot adjust. And that is where the difficulty lies. And I can relate to that. When I was attending high school, I was a very fat individual. I mean, if I smile, my jaw will be up here. And that is why at that time, I did not smile a lot, because I don't want it to be a case where persons are looking at me and while I'm talking or smiling, my jaw's going up to my eyes, oftentimes look like a Chinese man. I don't want it because people always laugh off of me. So I'm gonna like talk, I'm gonna like push up myself out there because I was fat. So I had self-esteem issues. But I did not allow that to keep me down. At fourth form, I realized that now I have to bust out into a perspective, or to veer into a perspective where there are no known. Yeah? Bust out in a perspective. No care where me I go, but me can't stay here, so. You see? I want to level with you because when I understand right now that when you level with persons, they have an understanding. I don't want you to leave this session and try to have the meeting to wonder, what did he say? What was his presentation about? I was a fat boy, big and fat, short and chubby same way. But I did not allow my insecurities, I did not allow my image to hold me back. I bust out of that because I know that I have an innate ability. So I want to suggest, while you look at the very important topic of mental health, you have to tap into the syncopated rhythm of your being. You have to tap into your innate self to find the strength, to find the cerebral power, to find the cerebral fortitude to make it through. Because if it is that you don't exert that kind of thing, you are going to be left behind. And I don't want it to be a case where you are left behind. But you have to push forward. And in pushing forward, you have to be true to thyself. William Shakespeare, one of my favorite writers, he penned it accurately in writing, I think, this book, Hamlet. He said, "This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man." And this passage, I ensured that it is overly emphasized in all three series because it is very powerful. Shakespeare is saying that we should not seek to be pretentious. We should not seek to hold grudges, but we should try to be honest as possible. We have to try to be as candid as possible. We have to shun the very nature of trying to be pretentious. Because when we put those aside and we focus on ourselves, then we are better able to see the gaps that exist. We are better able to see what is it that I am doing right, what is it that I am not doing right, and then you can action in order for advancement. So Shakespeare is saying, don't try to be pretentious. No put on no facade, that does not make sense. No put on no face to please nobody. No small up your space to make nobody come in your life. You have to focus on you, because the fact that they want to come into your life, it means that you're doing something good. It means you're doing something good. Remember, you know, people now fling stone off a green mango or fluxy mango. The mango must ripe and mellow and look nice. So when you are getting that added traction, or you're seeing traffic coming to your way, be guided and continue making the calculated decisions, because that is why you would have actioned your abilities. So the fact that you have actioned your abilities, you are now be able to be seen. So when you shun the pretentious abilities, when you shun the fact of not being honest, then you recognize your inadequacies and you recognize your gaps. And I don't know, but let me not go there. The next point takes me to, don't be intimidated by the pace of others. Don't be intimidated by the pace of others. You see, when COVID just came in, when COVID just came and ambushed us or abducted us, I don't know about you, but every night me have to run go watch TVJ because me want to know if Jamaica record the first case. Yeah? I wanted to know if it is that the COVID-19 has reached on the island. But now it come like nothing. Because every day you hear is that this Jamaica record this number of cases, and it continue to go up and up and up. And some of us, we lose interest in that. But I want to pause to say, continue to enforce the protocols and acknowledge the protocols as emphasized by the Ministry of Health. Wear your mask, sanitize, wash your hand, maintain your physical distance. It's very important. But what I'm trying to say is that some of us are not so much enthused about the COVID argument anymore. It is here. They are pushing for us to adjust to the new norm. And we have to adjust and adapt where possible. But at the end of the day, we have to ensure that our mental fortitude is being kept. We have to ensure that our mental fortitude is being kept. As a guidance counselor, we are here to assist you. We are here to assist you on the journey. We are here because we hold your interest at heart. There are persons who believe that it is critically important, absolute necessary for you to focus on your mental health. And I want to suggest to you that in order for you to focus on your mental health, you should not be intimidated by the pace of others. It does not matter how slow you progress, just don't stop. Be the snail, you will reach the finish line. Be the turtle, you will reach the finish line. And the story goes about the rabbit and the turtle. The rabbit flash off, this is the snail's taking a little time. But what? On the journey, the rabbit felt as if I was so far away from him. Let me just stop and rest little and him fall asleep. And the turtle take him little way and pass him and go win the race. Slow does it sometimes, you know? Do you focus on you, focus on yourself, focus on your psyche. Appreciate charisma and character. I say to you, young people, your charisma will take you anywhere. Nowadays, we have self-proclaimed youth leaders. We have self-proclaimed advocates. And I'm not at any point in time trying to bash anyone, but that is the reality. You have to appreciate that charisma will take you anywhere. But you see, when you get there, it will take charisma or character to keep you there. So let me just repeat that for clarity. It will take charisma to bring you anywhere. Or charisma will take you anywhere, but character will keep you there. Character is when you start applying yourself. That is where you start to position yourself and to know about the intricacies or the gaps in whatever you are doing. Charisma take you anywhere, but character will keep you there. And then you have to disassociate yourself from alternatives. Once sound good, smell good, taste good, it is not good, frankly speaking. So you have to disassociate yourself from the alternatives, the things that are not worthy to engage you or to seem into your psyche. Disassociate yourself. Red flag. You see? And when you do that, you have to also fight your own battles. You have to fight your own battles. Fighting your own battles will allow you to not look all angry too quick. You can't get up every day and take up everybody's problem on your head. You have your mental fortitude and your mental health abilities to keep intact. Everybody else have a responsibility to keep theirs intact. You have to focus on yourself. Don't allow anybody to barrage you with their or to try to influence or to negotiate your own space. Fight your own battle. It reduces the chance or the likelihood of getting depressed. And that is what we are trying to run from. So, we all know our Bible, and we know the story about King David and Goliath. Not King David, sorry. David and Goliath and King Saul. David conquered Goliath. King Saul was the appointed king. He was the king at the time. David was just a little shepherd boy, but he was the one who conquered Goliath. And we would thought, or we would believe that King David, not King David, but King Saul would be the one to slay Goliath. But David was the one. King Saul had the appointment by virtue of him being the king. But David had the anointment. He had the anointment to kill Goliath. So I am saying to you, in your quest to pursue your excellence or advancement, focus on yourself. Know when you are appointed and know when you are anointed. The reality is, some of us, our responsibility is to plant the seed and not to reap the fruits. Some of us, our responsibility is to take care of the garden, to plow the field, to drop the seed and to cover them, and not to reap the benefits. You have to know when your calling is necessary. And that limits the likelihood of you delving into an uncalculated avenue. Because when you look at mental health, when you examine the intricacies of mental health, your role is to apply yourself. It is not business as usual. It is not business as usual because now we are overwhelmed with a lot of things, a myriad of factors seeming to take over our psychological space. But it is about you, young people, honing what is happening. When you hone what is happening, you understand what is really happening. And you have to allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling. Breathe sometimes. Take the deep breath. You inhale, you exhale. Allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling. It's okay to feel a particular way. Yes, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. You have to allow yourself to feel how you are feeling. And whilst you're appreciating that, it is important that you recognize that you can overcome. You experience what you're feeling because you know that there's a silver lining for you to overcome. And as I want to quickly wrap up, because I think I am getting overly excited. You need to understand, young people, that it is not so much the problem of you getting depressed, but it would have taken something for you to reach there. You know, get up overnight and be so depressed. Something would have influenced it. Something would have influenced it. And as I said earlier, not necessarily COVID-19, but a myriad of ills and challenges have compounded our reality and affect our mental abilities. For example, financial issues. Nowadays, parents have lost an employment opportunity. They're being laid off, business slow. You know, there's an uncertainty surrounding your future. University to be attended, you know, no funding. Nowadays, everywhere lock. Everywhere lock. So normally when you go get the little work experience or summer job, it is kind of uncertain nowadays because everybody is feeling the blunt of the pandemic. And it affects you. It affects you because you know that you are relying on this funding avenue to assist you in your university pursuit or in your quest to complete education. Another challenge is that it poses mental health distress. You become so depression. You become so depressive. You know, you exude depression, anxiety related conditions, stress, abuse, neglect, family conflict, unplanned pregnancies, STDs and STIs. It seems as if them fly one gate on all of this because I realize, and I'm speaking on my perspective as a guidance counselor, students are at home, so they are more prone to be involved in certain things. I mean, it's not an ill, but you know, there are social and community related factors influencing this, but they are at home, so they are more influenced by what is happening. So of course, they will want to venture into having sexual activities or to just to feel what is happening and to know what is happening and what it takes to be engaged. And then it turns out that they are pregnant and it's unplanned pregnancy. Some of them get so exposed that they are now grappling with STDs and STIs. It's very unfortunate, the challenges that our young people face nowadays. And the final one, I know everybody's perhaps might rile up about this one. You are at home, so you are now equipped or you are now asked or tasked with the added responsibility for family members. You know, have to take care of your younger sibling, your older sibling, or perhaps elderly at home. There are a myriad of challenges that you're experiencing, but you have to understand that your psychological abilities, your mental capacities, it is worth working on. It's worth it. So as I seek to conclude the presentation, as a guidance counselor, the proposal being pushed by the Ministry of Education is that we have to engage in psychosocial support. By virtue of being the counselor, I understand that we are tasked to respond and to also understand the needs of our students or the populace in which we serve. We cater to total development of the individual or the child. And this is out of an abundance of care because we know that you are facing a lot of issues and you need the help. So we are here to shoulder the burdens that you carry. We are here to shoulder the burdens that you are faced with. Because the reality is, when we talk about psychosocial support, the prefix psycho means the mind. It speaks to your thought, it speaks to your emotion, it speaks to feelings. But the social aspect, it speaks to your culture, your community, your traditions. So when we combine both and having a psychosocial aspect, it speaks to mechanisms that will be implemented to promote, and not only to promote, but also to prevent the onset of problems. Or I want to be a little bit more specific as we're talking about mental health. It seeks to instigate mechanisms that will seek to deter mental disorders. That is what we want you to do, and that is what I want you to get this afternoon. We are here to help you, and I will just briefly speak, or let me just run through some benefits of this kind of mechanism. Number one, it is tasked to develop internal coping capacities and resilience. We want the cerebral strength to come out, so we have to develop it intrinsically. We want you to develop emotional intelligence and help to connect emotion to world. Emotional intelligence is not about just how you feel, but also how you react to things around you. That is what we want you to do. We don't want you to not only sit down and know how you feel, but we want you to relate to certain things. We want you to have road model, as Westmorelites would say. We want you to have road model. We want when you go a road, you know how to carry out yourself. And that is what we are trying to push. It seeks to enable the mind to cope with memories, which promotes processing of emotions. When you're able to process the memories or flashbacks, then it should be able to guide you in moving forward. It kind of, you understand, so it enhances the feeling. It helps with the healing of the mind and the heart. That is important. The mind, the spirit, and the heart. We have to work towards that synergy. And finally, multifaceted potential. All of us have our abilities. I mean, some of us, we can shine as we are. You know, you are diamonds as you are. But some of us, we also need some level of doctoring. We need to be assessed. And in order for us to shine, we have to polish. We have to get some little polish. You know, some people have to polish in order for us to shine. So that is what it speaks to. All of us have multifaceted potential. Some of you will work as you are and you will excel as you are. But some of us, we need some level of push. And that will take me to the last aspect of the presentation, self-care. Nowadays, Mrs. Collins said it right. Teacher stress, mother stress, father stress, granny stress, grandfather stress, teacher stress, student stress too. You understand? And it makes the situation more difficult because if we seek to understand that when all parties are defensive, we will not reach anywhere. We will not reach anywhere. We will now have to reach the stage where consciously we develop some mechanisms that will aid in transitioning or navigating the way forward. We have to be proactive, and being proactive means you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. Being proactive means you have to take care of yourself. Because I oftentimes give the example that if you have a cream soda or a grape bottle, a soda drinks, and you shake it up and you quickly flip the cork, the carbonation inside will allow the cork to just flash off and wet you up because it is filled with carbonation inside. But if you slowly turn the cork or remove the cork, it will come out in a more controlled manner. Why? Because you're able to manage what is inside. That is what I want you to do. Seek the help. Practice self-care. Because in order for us to return to some level of normalcy, that is what we need to do. Self-care is the practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well-being and happiness, in particular during periods of stress. I'm proposing to you that you learn coping strategies. You're at home, crocheting, mask making. Do something that will get you engaged. Do something that will channel your mind away from mental stress. Get adequate rest or sleep. This is very important. We oftentimes stress. Get 8 hours sleep. I mean, the realities of now, it does not even seem that we are getting 5. But it is advisable that we get the adequate number of rest, the number of hours for rest or sleep. We have to get so relaxed and to transition our body into what is to come. Exercise. Learn relaxation techniques. I can tell you, I have started this exercise journey. I can't tell you how it is going because sometimes when I happen to leave the gym, I can't even move because my body is not so used to that. So when I expose my body to that, you know, the body would want to put up a defense against it. But that is what you have to do. Exercise. Learn how to say no sometimes. Learning how to say no sometimes. You don't have to be disrespectful, but you have to know how to control your emotions and control the things that you say. Yes, sir. Learn how to say no sometimes. I know you might want to assist everybody. You want to assist here. You have 5 meetings for the day and you want to be at all 5 meetings. Really? You have to know when and where to say no. Because if you are not functional, you will not get, or you will not be able to receive another link to a meeting. Because them know say up here so some screw not set properly or some settings skewed. Yeah, it has been disrupted. So you will not get a meeting link. You will not get a meeting code and a password because whoever hosting the meeting knows that you are not functional. So you have to focus on yourself now to ensure that you are functional when you should be given links or meeting invitations to attend. Stay connected with your families and your friends. Stay connected. Maintain the conversation. I mean, some of us can't even afford data plan or credit. But send please call me same way. Said please credit me same way. I have a friend, whenever she needs me, she exhausts all her please call me and she uses her mother phone and she send me a please credit me with fear number. So I know that when I see the please credit me this HIPAA number, I know that I need to call her. Spend time with your supreme being. Find hope in the midst of the crisis that you face. Spend time with your supreme being. Find the time to invite the presence of the being. Find the time to connect. Find the time to meditate. Find the time to recalibrate your emotions. Find the time to refocus or to re-energize yourself in the midst of the crises that you face. Because I want you to understand, and this would be my final word to you, in order for you to be mentally prepared, young people, you have to action your abilities now. You have to seek the help that you want, and you have to seek to restore the sense of normalcy for you to return to what you were before. We are not sure of how uncertain, well, because of how uncertain the times are, we are not sure if we will ever reach the stage where it is normal again. But that's fine. All of us will have to face it. But you have to apply yourself. You are singularly the most effective person to get through all of what is happening. Can't overemphasize that. Yourself is important. Focus on yourself. Love yourself, value yourself, measure yourself, and judge yourself. Because your mental ability is important. You want to develop the cerebral strength, the cerebral fortitude to get things done. And that starts from being mentally aware. That starts from practicing self-care. And that starts from taking an active role in protecting your well-being and protecting your happiness, irrespective of all the stresses of life, irrespective of all that you're going through. Understand that this too shall pass, and it will take you to take yourself. You will be the pilot in this. It's not going to take your mother or your father or your girlfriend, boyfriend. It's not going to take anybody to take you through. You have to reach there. And when you reach there, you will see anybody else and everybody. Work on reaching there. Veer into a perspective where there are no trail. Go where a path might not be, but you create your own path. Find wherever the mountaintop is. Try to develop the itinerary to reach there. You might make some different stops. I mean, if you're going to certain countries, the plane will have to take you a particular location and then you have to connect a flight, or you might have to connect one or two or three. That is the road to the development and advancement. You might be faced with setbacks or roadblocks, obstacles, situation, trials, pothole, ditch. But that's fine. Navigate yourself through them skillfully. If it is that you need to jump some hurdles, you jump some hurdles. If it is that you need to crawl under some situations or blockages, crawl under them. But irrespective of what you need to do, ensure that you do not stop. Your mental health is important. You are young people. I want to see you evolve in the men and women of tomorrow who will advance the welfare of Jamaica land we love. And you can do it. I believe in you. All of us here believe in you. And I know you believe in yourself. So let it be a case where you make yourself proud, and then you will make us proud, because all of us are trying to advance the welfare of Jamaica land we love. Thank you so much for the invitation. God bless you. I hope you would have learned something. And if there are any questions, I think I am in a position now to take them. And if you had any for Mrs. Collins, I will also entertain them at this time. So Madam Host, over to you. Thank you so very much.
Hey. Wow, thank you, Mr. Pierce, for that very informative presentation. I'm sure we all learned. Someone is saying great presentation, indeed, very informative. So as we wrap things up, I'm going to call on Miss Akira Campbell, I believe, to do the vote of thanks for us as we wrap up things this evening. Akira?
Yes, I am here. I just want to apologize for any noise that you hear in my background before I continue. My name is Akira Campbell, and I am the Region 1 Secretary for the Jamaica Prefects Association, and I'm just here to extend the votes of thanks on behalf of the national body. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my pleasure to express thanks to you all on behalf of the Jamaica Prefects Association. I express sincere gratitude firstly to our guest speakers, Mrs. Haley Collins and Mr. Pierce, for taking the time out of their busy day to be with us this evening and to simply explain to us and educate us on what is mental health and how to take care of ourselves. And as student leaders, I know it is very, and as student leaders, I know it's a struggling time for us all. We are truly grateful to you all. Secondly, I express thanks to all executive members of the Jamaica Prefects Association who have been working hard continuously to make this and every event of Prefects Week a successful one. Your hard work and service is appreciated. We thank you for your efforts, we thank you for your efforts. Last but not least, I express thanks to all participants, whether it's here on Zoomland with us or whoever are streaming on YouTube. We are truly grateful that you were able to grace us with your presence, and we truly thank you for listening and participating with us today. I also express thanks to all stakeholders of the Jamaica Prefects Association, to all our youth empowerment officers who are working behind the scenes with us to ensure that we are successful in whatever we do. I express a happy Prefects Week to you all. Thank you for your participation, and I do hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Remember to stay safe, protect your mental health at all costs, and remember to value yourself. I just want to say once more, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely beautiful indeed. We must express our greatest thanks. Thank you to you now, Akira, for extending that vote of thanks. So now I'm not seeing Shanaki, but I'm going to call on Miss Opal Richards to just give some final instructions before we dismiss ourselves. So Miss Richards, you're up now.
Yes, Miss Brian, I'm here. So good afternoon, everyone, and thanks again so much for coming out today. So as you all know, the Jamaica Prefects Association is indeed celebrating Prefects Week this week, and we are just so happy for your participation and just coming out. So the week is not over yet. Tomorrow we'll be having a virtual town hall, and we're looking forward to seeing all of you. Please tell your friends and all those from other schools to come and have their voices heard, and also to bring solutions to the table to the problems that we face as students. On Saturday, there will be a movie night, so we're looking for you to come out with your popcorn and your friends, and we will all have a great time. So thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to your participation for the rest of the week.
All right. Thank you, Miss Richards. So If there are no other comments, just want to say thank you again to everyone for joining us. Thank you for those who are streaming. Thank you for those who made the time to be here just once again. And thank you for being a wonderful audience. It was my pleasure to be a moderator. So have a safe and productive rest of the day. And yeah, just tune in for the rest of Prefix Week. So thank you all for coming. Bye, everyone. Thank you.